Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie Harrington. I'm the MD of Knewton's International Operations. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company. Knewton is the world's leading adaptive learning company. We were founded in 2008 in New York City, and we now have offices around the globe, in London, in Sao Paulo, and very soon in Tokyo. We are a venture-backed company. To date, we've raised over $100 million, most recently from Atomico and Founders Fund. We have 200 employees based around the world, and we are currently partnered with publishing companies that have enabled us to deliver adaptive learning to over 120 countries to date, with over 6 million learners using our platform and over 7 billion recommendations that are personalized, delivered to students to date. Now, I'll take a step back here and talk to you a little bit about the motivation for our company. It should come as no surprise that students learn in all different kinds of ways. And students have different interests, attention spans, backgrounds, natural abilities, even objectives. And until very recently, the textbook publishing industry, the factory classroom model, wasn't able to accommodate personalization. It was literally impossible to have a personal tutor for every single student. So this is the situation we found ourselves in. Now, the other thing we observed was that almost every other media industry was experiencing tremendous personalization. Gaming, shopping, news, you name it. Until recently, none of that was happening in education. Now, I would say that the impact of the internet on education can fall into two buckets: distribution and data mining. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of companies working on the distribution side of the equation. Fantastic, world-class educational content is now available around the globe. This will have tremendous ripple effects throughout not only education, but every other industry. Now, Knewton as a company is focused on the other side of the equation, personalization. There is a tremendous amount of data that goes into educational materials. When students are working through homework, when they're responding to questions in class, this data has always existed, but it's never before been capturable at scale. You could never analyze the steps that were being taken on a student's learning journey. And this is specifically what Knewton was founded to focus on. And the world that we envision is a place where students' interactions with educational content can be optimized for them. This doesn't replace the entire ecosystem. It simply means that when they're using educational materials, teachers, parents, students can know that that interaction has been optimized specifically for their unique needs. This is what we offer to our partners. We offer a toolkit, an API integration that can enable this functionality directly within their learning applications or their digital textbooks. Predominantly, it's focused on recommending content and providing insight to learners and teachers. What we offer is the ability to make a textbook that is personalized for every student. Now, when we were founded, we went around to many publishers and offered them this technology, but they felt like the time wasn't right. So we had to take matters into our own hands and develop some learning solutions that showed the power of adaptive learning. This is one of those. This is a course that was developed with a US university that had a problem with developmental math. They admitted 10,000 students every year, 25% of which failed their entrance-level math exam. This meant that traditionally they had to go to a semester-long course where they were remediated with content from the high school level. This was not an ideal experience. A number of those students were dropping out, and we felt that this was a good showcase for adaptivity. And this is the course that was developed. It is a dynamic, mastery-based approach to learning with content from grades 6 to 12, and Knewton is behind it. So whenever a student comes in and clicks that Let's Go button, Knewton will select the very best content for that student to meet their learning goal. In this way, students were able to demonstrate mastery in a matter of hours, or weeks, or months. This was the first time mastery-based learning had been delivered at scale in the US. Along the way, some of the functionality we're able to give to teachers is insight into exactly what students are learning and what their strengths are. Behind all of this, as an adaptive engine, is a tremendous amount of data. One of those inputs is what we call a knowledge graph. This knowledge graph is basically a hypothesis about how all the content is related. This represents the seed for our algorithms. Now, very importantly, this is not a rules-based engine. This is simply one of many inputs into what goes into a recommendation. We're learning about specific student skills, their interests, their engagement, how content is related, and what content is working well. This system is continuously self-optimizing. And importantly, it does that without any demographic data. We don't collect any personally identifiable information about any of our students. And what you're able to do then, and this is a visualization of that same class, and it looks at all the different paths that were taken by students. Clearly, this one-size linear model did not work in this case. What you can do is overlay an individual student's learning journey, her learning fingerprint. We saw tremendous results with this course. Pass rates increased, tuition money was recovered, and we saw it across the board. Now, that enabled us to move to where we've been for the last 3 or 4 years, which is an open platform for education technology companies. Now, if you look at this list, you see a lot of publishers. Well, I'll tell you, these publishers are now education technology companies. We are helping them with that transition. Some of them are well-established names with leading digital products. Some of them are entirely in the print world. Knewton is flexible to work with publishers in both stages of that transition. Importantly, we have publishers that are direct competitors using our system. This is entirely fine because all we are is a back-end service. We are adaptive learning as a service. You can see here many companies from Europe, a number of companies from Asia, and that's important because we're able to power products not only in English, in any language, because we are a behind-the-scenes company. This is a little bit of what it looks like. And one of the important points here is that a student really never needs to know that they're using Knewton. They're just using a product from one of our partners. Now, this partnership approach is critical to us. Our business model is based on a revenue share. We share the risk in the success of these digital learning products with our publishing partners. We don't create any of the content. We're not creating the front-end interface. We're really just that engine that's figuring out how students learn, that's making predictions, and helping improve outcomes. This is a glimpse of what a new digital textbook looks like. This is a product developed by one of our partners in the US, Triumph Learning, and what you're seeing is a student dashboard. When a student logs into this system, she sees a number of different assignments from her teacher. She also sees a number of gamified elements. When a student clicks into one of those things, Knewton takes over and delivers exactly the right bit of content for that student at that moment in time. At the same time, we're able to give tremendous insight back to the teacher. This is the teacher's dashboard. At a glance, she can quickly overlay exactly what's going on in the classroom, using this as a tool for diagnosis, for providing extra support in the classroom, and figuring out how to best tailor her learning objectives to the individual needs of the classroom. There's tremendous flexibility in a solution like this, and it gives tremendous insight into what's going on into an individual student. This is data that is transformative for students, teachers, parents, administrators. And that's really what we're doing. This is just one glimpse of what one Knewton-powered product looks like. There are now dozens on the market across the world, and I wish I had enough time to show you all of them. Now, my final point here is we want to be involved in all stages of the value creation chain for educational content. When Knewton's making a recommendation, we're looking at the atomic concept. We're not saying, you liked this textbook, here's another textbook. What actually matters is the content and how that content is related. Now, education is tremendously well suited for data mining. The concepts that matter are truly granular, are truly focused and interrelated, and that enables us to have tremendous insight into what's working. I'd like to share a glimpse at a new product tailored for publishers. This is a product called Content Insights that is showing publishers exactly what content is working. In this way, we can not only improve the day-to-day experience of students as they're learning, but we can help publishers and education companies figure out if the investment in video content or assessment content is actually leading to better student outcomes. Now, we are very much open for business, looking for anyone who wants to build a personalized learning product. You can find more information on our website, Knewton.com. Thank you all very much for your time.